Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Davia Chambers, and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Thank you for joining us for our first episode of 2016. Are you excited about this new year? And have you made any resolutions? It's a year of possible new beginnings. We're excited this week to talk about the division's plans that promise a better Tobago. And this beautiful place, we're at Le Grand Corland Spa Resort in Blackrock. As always, we're on location. It's time now for this week's Pick 3 of What's Ahead. Community outreach tops the list. Micro malls get funded, and aquaculture, also known as fish farming. These and other reports when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
Going to Barbados? Why continue to pay high prices when you can get there for only US $231.95, all taxes included? Yes, you heard right. You can now travel to Barbados from Tobago for a mere US $231.95 on Gold's weekly service. So if you're going to Barbados for business, the beach, crop over, or attending university, stop wasting your money on those other high-priced airlines and get there for a fraction of the cost. To book, just log on to www.vogel.com.br. Barbados just got closer.
We're here at Le Grand Corland, and its comfortable, spacious rooms, which cater mainly to couples, deserve a visit. We're paying a New Year's visit to the Tobago House of Assembly divisions this week. Our first stop is the office of the Chief Secretary, and one message seems to be clear: for the people of Tobago. Let's hear more about it.
Reaching out to the community, making certain that they know what's occurring on the island and that their voices are heard is high on the list for the Office of the Chief Secretary this year. How will this be done?
We will be resuming community meetings in January, and we're hoping that by July we would have been able to have meetings in every electoral district. The public interest desk is going to be revived, and what we're going to be doing is linking the public interest desk with the community liaison unit. As you know, the community liaison unit is a unit with the responsibility of functioning as a conduit between the community and the assembly.
The people of Tobago can look forward to the continuation of the Scarborough Enhancement Program. Mr. London says possible projects have been identified to beautify the town. He adds that the provisions for demolishing dilapidated buildings around Scarborough will also be enforced.
In a situation where the Tobago House of Assembly does not own a significant portion of the land in Scarborough, we are sometimes quite frustrated as we attempt to encourage the private sector to do what they can. We would have actually at one point in time brought the various owners together with a financier in an effort to, see whether something could happen. That fell through. But we're not giving up on that.
Though 2016 is a challenging year, it will also be a year of possible new beginnings for the island. Chief Secretary Orville London says the Tobago House of Assembly review will be resubmitted to the central government by mid-January.
Those proposals would include the same three documents: our position, a draft bill, and of course our comments on what the then government's position was. And we are hoping that with this process that we'll be in a position where we'll be able to have cabinet review it, have public comment, and of course have it go to Parliament sometime before the end of this year.
The Office of the Chief Secretary plans to continue supporting the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, or TEMA, throughout the year. Human resource issues will be rectified, and Tobago's energy resources will be discussed. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Guests at Le Grand Corland have the option of the honeymoon package or the all-inclusive package. Either one makes for a memorable vacation. This year, it's about filling in the gaps, a focus on expansion, taking risks, and building on last year's goals will diversify Tobago's economy. Keyshawn Wilson has details from Finance and Enterprise Development.
More funding for high-risk businesses from the Venture Capital Equity Fund. Farmers to have a special category in the Enterprise Assistant Grant and Fund programs, a cassava plant, and alternative mechanisms to fund Tobago's development will all be undertaken by the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development in this fiscal year.
The division has been working with the IADB and also the Trinidad High Commission in terms of expanding and establishing a public-private partnership unit, and also in terms of training and sensitizing the divisions across the assembly in terms of the PPP modality, what it's for, and how you go about implementing projects under the public-private partnership arrangement. I mentioned the need for a cargo port to support the activities at the Tobago Industrial and Business Park. That is another area that we're looking at, and a feasibility study is currently underway to determine, the location.
With a hope to diversify Tobago's economy, Mr. Jack says 2 new factory shells will be completed at the Cove Eco-Industrial and Business Park, among other initiatives.
We will also build on a number of the missions that were undertaken in fiscal 2015. I reported with a great degree of excitement the response to a number of our products funded by the Enterprise Assistance Fund and Grant programs. And those products we took to Canada, to Miami, and to New York on various missions, and the feedback has been overwhelming. And I was in conversation with one of our clients, producer, Springtime Foods, and she has already seen the benefits coming out of these overseas missions.
He adds that micro malls in the east and west of the island will also be delivered.
The Argyle Mini Mall and the Adventure Mini Malls, they will also be open in fiscal 2016. Currently, minor repair work is underway at Argyle to have it in a state of readiness.
The division will also implement a new strategic plan in this fiscal year. In addition, the Assembly's accounting system will be modernized. I'm Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
Le Grand Call and Spa Resort has 2 fine dining restaurants. Guests at the hotel don't have to trouble with going in search of good food. Destination Tobago is the agenda. Being an ideal vacation spot means a busy year of getting tourists here and offering them the best of Tobago. In our next piece, Caroline Wallace has some of what this means for tourism and transportation.
Ensuring Tobago becomes an ideal destination for tourists and one that offers an unrivaled product is the goal of the Division of Tourism and Transportation for fiscal 2016-2017. One of the keys to achieving this is by having adequate room stock. Hence, 80 additional rooms should be added to the island for fiscal 2016-2017.
The works on the sanctuary project has started, and later this year, or earlier this year rather, we will see work starting on Manta Lodge, with an aim to having Manta Lodge ready by January, February, or the first quarter of this fiscal period, and having sanctuary ready at the end of the fiscal period, just in time for the start of winter 2016-17.
Accessibility to the destination is also very important. Last year, there was the commencement of Gull Airline catering to the Brazilian and Barbados markets. This fiscal year, the division is hoping to tap into new markets. The aim is to boost international arrivals to Destination Tobago.
Our focus is on the North America market and also having a direct flight from the Scandinavia market as well. Late this fiscal period, we launched the flight from Manchester through Thomas Cook, and they will start service in winter 2016-2017. And then we also have the China market that we will be focusing on, as well as the Baltic market.
And the Tobago's sites and attractions are also on the to-do list. The canopy tours in Bloody Bay will be up and running this year. Beach facilities such as Mount Irvine will be upgraded. Fort King George will be revitalized to offer visitors a historical experience, and the Scarborough Heritage Trail will be launched in the first quarter of this year. The aim is for tourists to live the culture Tobago style. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Management of state lands is one of the special priorities for planning and development. More when Let's Talk Tobago continues. We'll be right back. Every Friday, it's the Carib Afterline Party here at the hotel. Guests get the chance to come out and have a night of fun. There's also weekly live entertainment, including the sweet sounds of steel pan. Special priorities is planning and development's wheelhouse, and the new system, collaborations, and streamlining funds will be key to a successful year. See what I mean in this next piece.
State lands such as the Adelphi Estate, Friendship Estate and Lamy Road, Argyle will come under better management in 2016. That's because there'll be the implementation of a new system of operations at the State Lands Unit so as to ensure better accountability of its allocations.
Among the documents are the processes for the allocation of land for agriculture, agricultural, commercial, residential and institutional purposes. In other words, bringing a system in place that is understandable and applicable to all the applicants, so that there is a level of predictability and transparency about the way in which things were done.
The Department of Advanced Training and Advisory Services, DATAS, will have a more focused method of distributing funds to people who'd want to pursue post-secondary education.
Most of the resources are going to be geared only for, or primarily for, those programs which the Tobago House of Assembly recognized are priorities for Tobago's development or the country's development.
And there'll be a closer collaboration in dealing with collecting data on the state of HIV numbers and treatment on the island.
We'll be meeting with the Division of Health and Social Services to see how we can coordinate, because the Division of Health and Social Services deals primarily with care and treatment, whereas the Office of the Chief Secretary is supposed to deal primarily with issues of monitoring and management and overall coordination and, of course, prevention.
The Division of Planning and Development will also set up a committee to ensure that all the divisions and Tobagonians are working towards accomplishing the goals of the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan 2.0. I am Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
Planning a day out, Stonehaven Bay, Mount Irvin Bay and the Kimi Museum Institute are a few tourist attractions close to this hotel. Next, we're talking about the plans for schools and athletics. More programs, better mentors and more funding, says Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. Take a look.
This is just one of the ways children can get themselves suspended from school. And even though being barred from school is a form of punishment, educators are finding ways to keep children focused on their academics while out of school.
We realize that very often these students, during the period that they're away from school, the teaching and learning stops. And therefore we want to establish after-school suspension program that will allow these students who are on suspension to attend classes at these locations and therefore keep up to date on their schoolwork while they serve the suspension, therefore don't fall behind.
Other programs on the agenda for 2016 include student councils, peer resolution centers, and the Teachers Help Desk. There will also be training workshops for coaches, teachers, principals, and those involved with supporting our youth.
We also want to see a trusted training and development both of youth leaders but also of the youth workers within the Department of Youth. We recognize that a critical element in youth work is to ensure that you have trained youth workers within the department, and of course that you also train youth leaders in the youth organizations operating in the community who serve as extensions of the work of the Department of Youth and by extension the Tobago House Assembly.
Athletes who have the potential to compete at the national, regional and international levels will have greater support via the Lalone Gordon Developmental Fund and the Tobago Elite Athlete Program.
We target our top athletes, male and female, and coaches, administrators, to provide the necessary funding to get them to the next level. A number of times our athletes are stymied because of financial constraints.
There are also plans to install lights and washrooms at some recreational grounds for public use. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Did I mention that there's a store located next to the Pinnacle restaurant at Le Grand Corland? Well, there is one, and it sells beachwear and jewelry. Your good health is the #1 concern for health and social services. 2016 will see more initiatives from this division. We check in now with Omadara Mills.
Preventing the spread of infectious diseases such as dengue, the Zika virus, and most recently the H1N1 virus or swine flu is a top priority for the County Medical Officer of Health, the CMOH. In addition to continuing data collection on possible cases and public awareness campaigns, there'll also be
vaccinations were started with the first line workers, and of course our population, our people were invited to go to the health centers for vaccination. Of course, we are working with our people to recognize their hygiene, their personal hygiene factors and so on, to prevent the H1N1 from coming to Tobago 1 and to prevent the spread in the Tobago scenario.
The integrated primary healthcare strategy will help health officials reduce the number of cases of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer. That's being done through the Healthy Homes, Healthy Families initiative.
We are working on how to meet our needs out there in the community through healthy eating, active living, and to encourage exercise and the kind of intervention that is required to change lifestyle. So we're looking at behavior change, lifestyle change, and mindset change.
Social services programs will continue to facilitate seniors at the Senior Citizens Activity Centers, support adolescent mothers, and improve the operations at the Children's Hostel. The Department of Social Services also plans to assess the effectiveness of its initiatives and work with social groups to focus on improving the lives of families.
And then when you look back at what Train and Family Service is all about in terms of meeting the family, meeting needs of the family, and understanding, especially parenting, which we know the community social workers already have into that and they have done some training. So what we want to do is some evaluation in terms of how that program, that training program, and how it meet the community and what step we need to do. So families focus on our mind this year.
Also on the Division's 2016 agenda are increasing the services provided at the Scarborough General Hospital, beginning community-based medical imaging, and starting a recycling project in the schools and communities. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Le Grand Corland Spa and Resort is the only hotel in Tobago that has a garden jacuzzi. Guests may take in the greenery as they relax in the water. Now, good farmers are needed on land and at sea. Food is essential, and our economy is stimulated by food producers, sellers, and consumers. Let's hear about what's in store this year from the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing, and the Environment.
Serious farming takes a lot of time and thousands of dollars, especially when farmers have to prepare the land. So for 2016, plots that are specifically developed for agricultural purposes will be given to qualified farmers. It's an initiative that's going beyond just distributing lands designated for livestock at Belmont and for crop production at the Friendship Estate.
We will ensure that all the infrastructural works are put in. Infrastructural works such as water, the roads, and electricity.
Another initiative will be the establishment of a packing facility that's expected to be operational by March.
This is something that our farmers and agro-processors are looking out for. This facility will bring a degree of safety to our produce, because it will be sorted and packed in what we consider as at a phytosanitary level.
Our fisher folks will also be looked after, since there are plans to complete the construction of fishing facilities in Charlottesville, Castara and Belgarden, refurbish existing fishing facilities, and increase security at jetties by installing floodlights. The division also plans to provide training to people interested in going into aquaculture, also known as fish farming.
It helps with the food security in the island. For example, at Easter time, we know how the fish does get scarce, and tilapia and prawn production will come like a backup system.
The protection of the land and the marine areas are also important. Besides the reforestation of some places, the division plans to care for the reefs by installing mooring buoys and continuing the demarcation of the Buku Reef Marine Park. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Farmers and fishermen. We've got news about these two groups when we return from these messages. We'll be right back.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene. Business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
This hotel features an all-inclusive gym for the fitness buffs and the largest full-service spa on the island. Now, quality of life is why infrastructure and new programs are high on the 2016 list of plans for community development and culture.
One new multi-purpose facility in the east, upgrades to the Canaan Bonacord Community Center, Wim Community Center, and Mount Grace Community Center are just some of the priority projects for 2016 from the Division of Community Development and Culture.
We will be giving priority to the Belgarden community. They have been waiting a long time for a new community center.
So programs such as the vocational skills training will be intensified this year.
And we intend to broaden our scope in relation to that program. We expect to be facilitating some additional courses. And the hope here is that, Tobagonians will take advantage of the opportunities provided. The Pride of Tobago project is another project we intend to facilitate in this fiscal year. The Macho program and the I Am Woman program are also other programs that we will be facilitating in this fiscal year.
Work will also continue on the commercialization of the creative sector, and products from Tobago will be exported.
We expect to have the designers, again, their merchandise will be taken to Japan again and continue the momentum of that activity. We will not be maybe sending persons to Japan, or as many, but we have certainly created the avenue for their merchandise to go. And I think we will be putting resources to ensure that their merchandise can reach the Japan market and can reach other international markets.
The Tobago Traditional and Indigenous Arts Academy will also be launched this year. It's a program which will be offered at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
The back entrance to this hotel leads to the beach. Guests may also enjoy the beach bar and browse the dive shop located right near the entrance. Settlements and Labour understands that having a place to live is a basic need. So 2016 is off to a running start with building houses and repairing homes for residents. We talk about their plans in this next story.
45 service lots at Bell Garden are expected to be completed by March. 32 townhouses are planned to be finished by May, and the land development at Corland is expected to be completed by July. And as these projects are finishing up, another housing scheme will start.
Adelphi Estates, it's an approximate 20 acres of land, and it should give us roughly anything around 40 or so service lots, right? And we're hoping to start that development in 2016.
In addition to the home improvement grants and home completion subsidies, there will be the introduction of the disaster mitigation program.
We will be catering for areas of installation of guttering, electrical repair, changing of your roof and sheetings, and also small brace walls.
The Division of Settlements and Labour continues to look into establishing the public-private partnership model to finance the housing schemes.
We're hoping that private sector could come on board, where the Tobago House of Assembly is prepared to offer the lands that we have, and private sector would be willing to come on board to develop those lands and to construct houses.
Upgrades to the sewage treatment plants in Roxborough, Castara, Blenheim and Adventia are also on the agenda. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Le Grand Corland Spa Resort has a beautiful view of the beach. It's landscaped with lush vegetation, and on any given day, a cool breeze blowing through. We hear reducing public frustration and increasing access is what's moving this year at infrastructure and public utilities. Here's more.
Many drivers encounter problems at this intersection, and this year, those issues should become a thing of the past, as a traffic signal will be placed here. Tobago will also see infrastructural development in other areas in 2016.
Milford Road bridges, we are hoping to start the first one by March of 2016. We have to do those bridges because it is important as we do the Milford Road. We are looking at a number of bypass roads to be able to assist traffic in Scarborough. We are working along with the National Infrastructure Committee, so we might get some assistance from the central government in those regards. We're looking at bypass roads, for instance, maybe having a bypass road from the stadium that takes you all the way to the Spring Garden.
The division will assist in constructing several buildings on the island. But that's not all. Mr. Melville says road issues will be tackled as well.
We are working with the Division of Health to start the Mariah Health Center, as well as to renovate and upgrade the Roxborough Health Center. We also want to complete some projects that we have already started, like the Adventure Mini Mall in Plymouth. We're committed to completing that by March of this year. We also have a number of other road issues that we want to tackle, road paving. This year we want to do some work on the Claude Noel Highway because the surface is really getting bad.
Internally, the DIPU is restructuring programs to ensure greater value for money and that staff is more productive.
URP has been under focus for the last few months of the old year, and we're looking at the restructuring of the management structure, installing more supervision so that we can experience better value for money, looking forward for the 2016.
This year, The division hopes for greater collaboration with the Water and Sewage Authority so that roads can be resurfaced after WASA lays its underground pipes. The street lighting program started on the island in 2015 will continue, and water security for Tobago is also high on the agenda. I'm Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
That's all for us this week. May your talk on Tobago's plans inspire your personal plans for you, your family, and your community. We'll be back next week with the best of what's happening in and around Tobago. Until then, you may write us with your comment or query about Let's Talk Tobago, and see you online at our website or Facebook page and the YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers. On behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, have a safe and splendid week.
Thank you.